120 inbound DMs from one single story sequence, and in this video I'm gonna break down exactly what we posted in this story sequence, how you can do the same, and also how you're probably doing your story sequences right now makes it that you're not converting anyone into a sale for your product or service. Welcome to another video. Make sure you watch this video all the way from beginning till the end, because I'm showing you exactly why your stories are not converting right now and how you can solve that, right? So we all know that it begins by posting reels on your For You page, and that will lead to getting the right followers. But if you start posting videos like this, you're not gonna convert anyone as a follower, right? You need to make the right videos that actually build trust, actually build engagement, actually builds authority for you as an individual, right? I've made many videos on my channel. If you wanna watch them, make sure to watch them so you understand what kind of content to create. But once you have the conversion right, then you will gain followers, right? This guy is not doing well with his personal brand because he's not posting the right content. Then his highlights have no nurturing whatsoever, right? He's just simply posting lifestyle stuff that doesn't really mean anything to the audience. It's not really showing any reality, and therefore you're not getting any engagement. I'm gonna use my own stories that I used to post in 2022 on my Instagram profile, thinking it will get attention, thinking it will get me more clients, but nobody cares about watching an elephant in Cape Town. Again, nobody cares about me driving a Jeep. We have 7 likes, 0 replies, no CTA, no value, no results, nothing. And that's why it's not working. It's not building a connection, it's not having any pain points. Again, a picture of my laptop, nobody gives a fuck. There's no information, there's no real urgency, scarcity, pain points, trust building, authority building. Nothing is going on in this story. So you need to stop thinking that you need to have a highlight of every single location that you have been to, because the only people who care about the locations that you have been to are the girls who are looking for a sugar daddy, and not the guys who are wanting to learn something and actually buy your offer. So again, it's not building a connection. There's no turning point. They don't know what they're doing. Nobody cares about the location that you're in. Maybe you get a few likes from your friends, but it's not really doing anything for your brand, and definitely not converting anyone of your audience into a sale for your product or service. There's no concept, there's no information. There should be a bunch of lines here that actually provides value to your customers, but it doesn't. And maybe, again, you get a few likes. Now I can keep going on, but there's also no results and no CTA, and therefore there will be 0 inbound, and you will not make any sales if you keep flexing the locations that you have been to as a business owner, as a creator, because nobody cares where you have been. Only the girls care about it. I just said it and I'll say it again. And you don't want to attract girls to your personal brand because you're not going to convert anything into a sale unless you have an offer for girls. Now, how can you generate the right attention? This video, for example, had 1.2k likes. It had quite some views, 114,000 views on a simple reel that it was just a simple talking video, talking about his experience. This is what will actually gain followers. As you can see here, this page has 87,000 followers as we speak right now. This guy sold everything for Bitcoin in 2017, Amazon Prime documentary, a clear CTA in the bio, and then your money should work harder than you. Pretty clear already what we're doing, but not really yet. Then we have the highlights on the profile, a start here highlight, and I'm gonna break down the full highlight in the next couple of slides. But if we look at the different highlights, we wanna have a start here, the results, and then we have a few other things that build trust for his brand, right? Same for me, my growth software that you can actually use by simply DMing me the word followers, and I will send it over to you. And then a bunch of client results that we got, as you can see, Connor Martin, Brandon, Ruben and Samuel Onua. But then you have Sue Go, also insanely good, right? Leverage, GC, live, and then we have client results, and he has many more client results on his profile. That is what's building the trust on a personal brand. That is what will convert the viewers that just started following you into a sale for your product or service, right? Not all this bullshit about the locations that you have been to. So let's dive into the My Story highlight that we created for Didi that got 120 inbound DMs, right? In 2017, I sold everything. The house, the car, the motorbike, like literally everything we had. Most people thought I lost my mind. And this is what reality mirroring is. It's talking about something that you have done that got you to where you are today, right? Then we want to focus on relatability and pain points, right? Before that, I was a normal Dutch entrepreneur running a business, good income, 200 square meter house in a small town in the Netherlands, the full picture. But I felt trapped in a system that was never built for freedom, right? And this is where we build the connection and also talk about the pain points that people currently have when living in the society that we're living in, right? Then we go into the emotional connection, showing a bit about family, showing about his family and that they went on a 9-month trip through Asia and Australia, Vietnam, Bali, the Philippines. Everywhere we went, people were talking about Bitcoin. A trader from Dubai, a guy on Bali, and our Dogecoin went 20x on that trip. And I knew something big was about to happen. And this is basically emotional connection leading up to the turning point, right? And the turning point is where everything changes. We came home and made the decision. Sold the house for 100 Bitcoin, about $300,000 at the time. We moved the whole family into a small chalet on a campsite and the world called us crazy. We called it the beginning. And then for an insane amount of social proof, we added a news article that was written about them that shows that what they did was actually true. October 17, 2017, it was published on the news site, right? Then we're going into the proof of concept that the things that they have done have actually worked. We're talking about in 2018, Bitcoin dropped by 80%. It was an emotional roller coaster. People were laughing at us, but we understood what we were holding. We did not need the money next month, so we stayed and we kept going. 40 countries, 6 continents, no bank, no salary, living entirely on Bitcoin with our 3 daughters. CNBC followed us, WSJ made a documentary, and Amazon Prime turned it into a series. Insane amount of credibility if you have an Amazon Prime documentary, of course. And this again builds an insane amount of trust. It tells their story, it shows proof of concept, we showed the turning point, and it's all building up to a CTA. And as you can see, guys, you don't need a highly edited story sequence in order to get a lot of inbound DMs on your Instagram profile. These are all created inside Instagram with the Instagram native captions, with a simple yet powerful text on it, with the exact goal that we want to achieve. And then we want to dive into the proof of results, right? 2021, Bitcoin hit $69,000. 2025, it crossed $100,000. We sold our 300,000 house for 100 Bitcoin in 2017. That same house now is costing $400,000. At the time, we could have bought it back for 4 Bitcoin. And that is the difference between saving in euros and saving in Bitcoin. It's the difference between leaving your money in a bank account and leaving your money on an exchange, all inside Bitcoin, right? Now, this is where we create urgency and have the call to action once we have proof of results, right? Today, we help other people build the freedom, not through theory, but through a real system. And this system obviously works because he has been doing this since 2017. A proven system running for 8 years, as I said, allowing you to live in complete freedom. On top of that, mindset coaching and the possibility to generate an extra income with affiliates and everything we wish we had when we started. And that is the Freedom Academy. DM me the word freedom and then people will start DMing. Now let's dive into the stats for all these stories. Because as you can see on this first story already, we had 11 replies, we had 7,000 views, and we have about 13 people visiting the profile. Then on the next story, we had another 2 replies, 57 likes, 7,000 views again 1 profile visit. And then on the third slide, we had 54 likes, 1 reply, 2 shares, and again 7.6k views, and then 5 profile visits, right? Insane stats for stories, right? Insane stats for people watching these stories and actually getting into it. Then on the other slide, we had 61 likes, 6 replies, 20 times it got shared, 7.4 thousand views, and about 5 profile visits. And we don't really care about the profile visits, we want to get as many replies as possible. Then on the side where it was proof of concept, we got 1 more reply, 54 likes, again 7,000 views, a bit less because it's dropping after a few stories, but still 3 profile visits. And then on almost the last slide, we got insane results, 8 more replies, again 6.8k views, still super high, 5 profile visits. But then the last slide, we got 91 replies, guys. On one single story slide, we had 91 people replying to the story with the word freedom, being ready to opt into the offer. And again, the last slide also had 7.4 thousand views. So it actually went up compared to the other stories before. And it got also 64 profile visits and 1 that was tapping on the external link after watching this story. Now, if we go into these stories on a deeper level, right, we're gonna see what does reality mirroring actually mean. And this is the feeling underneath. It's a specific moment and it's pain point. And this is where the trust is being transferred from you to the audience watching you, right? Then we have the authority bridge. I was where you are. Pain points, curiosity. And this is where an audience turns from cold to a believer into what it is that you're trying to preach on your social media. Then we're focusing on the emotional connection that we're building. Freedom, family, OG images from way back to actually make that believer way stronger than that they already are, right? Then we come to the turning point, the plot twist of your story, the moment when everything changed, the moment where you became successful. And you have to build this with proof of what it is that you actually are doing actually works and is true. You have been through it, you have done it before, you have gotten the results way back. And that's where you also handle a lot of objections like, oh, is this still working? Yes, it is. And this is where you're building and connecting an insane amount of trust with your audience. Then we go into the story where we have proof of concept. And this is where you focus on scarcity and failure. You build more trust. You don't only share the wins, you also share the things where you were losing. And this is where you are honest and trustworthy. The trust building increases like crazy on a story like this. And as you can see here, we are sharing a story that actually talks about a little bit of a drop inside their journey to having all their money inside Bitcoin because Bitcoin dropped by 80%, right? Then we show the results. What happened after the dip? What happened after the crash? Money, health, achievements, specific proof. If you are a fitness coach, you want to show results of your clients on this slide. Before and after pictures of yourself. And this is the qualifying gate. This will filter out all the people that are unqualified and will only leave you with the people that are qualified to actually opt into your offer. And then the scarcity and the CTA, right? Name identity, exclusivity, one word CTA to keep it simple. And this is where you can funnel them. You don't have to funnel them with the CTA word to the DMs. You can also funnel people to the YouTube videos where you can nurture them even more so they actually get to know you as an individual and actually understand who you are, what it is that you do. Or if you do a CTA on this story, for example, with the word freedom, you get an insane amount of inbound DMs of people that are actually ready to invest into your offer. Or you can build a lead magnet to nurture people even more. And at the end of the lead magnet, you can have a call booking link so people can book a call with your sales team and get close for the product or service, right? We built the Freedom Blueprint, basically a simple system that people can utilize to actually learn about what it is to build wealth and escape the system that most people are stuck in. And these are the stats: 120 inbound, 30 calls, 12 closes. If you have a 4K offer, you have $48,000 cash collected instead of zero, because with these stories that I was posting and that most of you guys are posting, you are not gonna get any inbound DMs, you're not gonna get any sale for your product or service, and therefore you're not gonna make any money, but you're still doing all the effort thinking you need to look cool on the stories that you're making. So with that being said, guys, please focus on actually creating a nurturing sequence that turns a viewer all the way into a believer into what it is that you try to sell, so you can make the money from it and help them with the offer that you have. Now, without further ado, I hope this one was a valuable one. This was a story sequence posted on 26 March 2026. Super recent, super valuable. It works right now. You can implement this directly into your personal brand, whether you have an info offer, a business, doesn't really matter. Implement this today because you will get the results tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.